and all that's within me. Bless his holy and righteous name. I was sitting here and I'm thankful to God for how he protected me, for how they tried to make me homeless, my family and my husband, and the people that he hang with, and his hoe. So his whores, not whores, a bunch of them. So the funny part about it all is that they was hiding the information from me, and didn't realize, you go to court and you say a person homeless or a person this and that, trying to get stewardship over them when the person got a place to stay. People, so they think they smart, but they dumb. To try to unalive a person, or to try to, unalive, yeah, to kind of murder person, to set up a murder plot, and then on top of that, to try to make a person homeless. Um, and this is the part about what gets me. For somebody to think that they can come back to you after they done lied, even family and all with it. Done lied and said you sleep around. Done lied and said, that you sell yourself. The lie said, I'm crazy. These are some of the little things that was told, and it's just, y'all, sometimes I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, wow, this is just like, um, well, somebody would say it like it's a fantasy, but no, it's reality, because it's my reality. It's what I lived. To think that in his mind that he can come back to me after doing all this stuff, talking down on me in the bed with other women and men and talking down on me. Lines I raised, like they say, somebody raised hell. He come through the door and would raise hell, and I tell him, I would stop him, saying, no, I said, I would say this here, don't bring your problem here, your problem with your hoe, don't bring it here. I said, and then I said, oh, you must have had a bad day with your hoe, because he trying to. Then he come home days, he happy, because everything went all right with the hoe. So he would come home with a little happy attitude. But he did realize I can read him. It's not nothing was secret, but in his mind and in their mind that it was a secret private relationship. But it never was, because see, I knew the outcome from everything. So when you know the outcome from something, you just let everything play out. A lot of people don't understand. Well, I would have did this. I would have did that. People can always talk unless they in that situation, unless they've been going through that. But then the thing yet is to know your mission on this earth, that's part of your mission, part of your purpose on the earth. So you have to endure. When I say endure, like I was saying earlier, where I said I didn't have to. God made sure that my kids had food, my kids had clothes, everything we needed, we had it. We didn't have to steal from nobody. We didn't have to scam. We didn't have to scheme. We just told the truth, and God blessed us and showed me how to take care of my kids. With my husband wouldn't do anything for his kids. Lost a good job. I want to say, I guess in 1999, where he was working for the highway department. Had worked for the highway department for 15 years. But through him doing what other people say, he lost his job. Never had a no problem on his job. But he got, because our God told me to tell him, if he don't go to work, he gonna get fired. And exactly as of today, I don't think he ever acknowledged it, because he got the big head. He think he know everything and you can't tell him nothing. But he got fired because he wouldn't hear God. He rather to hear something else. Something else. You know what I mean? But God will have you set back. You write things down. I hear people which say about writing down a journal. Yeah, when you're going through different things, you need to write down everything. You need to journal everything, because see, that way, when you look back, you got to date that, and write your experiences. Not just that, also, like a lot of times people don't think about their dreams. Your dreams give you warning. Your dreams let you know what's going on around your life and in your the people around you life. God will show you through dreams and visions. Some people don't have vision, but then some people have dreams. Some people are dreamers. And I've always been a dreamer and a person that have visions because of my calling on this earth. When I say my calling on this earth, I mean my purpose. I have to make it religious or nothing like that, but what I want to make it is like everybody on this earth has a purpose on it. Whether it's light or darkness, whether good or bad, everybody serve a purpose. So don't be angry when people act like they act because they serving their purpose. And see, a lot of times people don't understand. I hear people know they used by the devil, know that they are an agent of the devil because they open themselves up where the devil can use them against God people, because you can see this so many times where people come against other people for nothing because of jealousy, envy, strife, because of what's inside of them. That jealous spirit will rise up in them, or competition. When you look and you wonder where somebody worried about some competition or trying to do better than the next person. And I've never been that type, and I thank God for that, because it's not. When I look at people like they happy but they miserable because they too busy trying to make other people miserable when they are miserable. And I want to say this, y'all. Money, do you need money to live? That's all to it. You need money to live. You hear people saying, money, 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 money. No, y'all guys need money to live. But it's the love of it. It's the way you treat other people when you got it, y'all. This man had plenty of money, but he wouldn't even take care of his children. But he had money because he was doing underhanded stuff. But like I said, I'm glad he didn't. But I just want to put that example, put not an example, put that truth out there, because he was making people think like he was doing so much. But then yet he was with the other woman, listen to her. She was telling him how to treat me. They was telling him how to treat me. But see, the thing about it, what he didn't realize, I was his wife, they wasn't. And he obeyed them. And guess what? Them and him, all I'm paying for it now. And get worse and worse and worse, because because they wasn't obedient, y'all. If y'all get married, I'm gonna say this here. If y'all guys get married, put your husband and wife first and your children. Don't put nobody else before them. You okay, the ones that's serving God, you got a relationship with God. God know you're going to put your husband and your wife first and your children. When I say first, you're not putting them before God, because God is in you. So you always serving him. When you serve your family, you serve God. You don't put the church before your family, because that's contrary to God's word. Your family comes first. Because see, we have our bodies are temples. So we serve God with our body. Just like we serve, our family, our children. We work or whatever, to provide for our family and our children. So what I wanted to say, because I'm saying all this, to encourage you all, just do what you got to do. Make sure you take care of your family. Don't put nobody and nothing before your family, because that's not the will of God for you to do that. The will of God is for you to take care of your family, to love your wife, to love your children, to be there for your children, not pretend like you this good father, pretend you like this good mother, and you don't even care nothing about your children at all. So I just want to put that out there today, and to say, you all get married, love each other. Don't let nobody come in between you and your husband or your wife, because if that to me a sign of weakness, person that they don't have any standards, a person that have standards, they're gonna make sure they take care of their wife and their children, and they're gonna spend time with them. Not that one person have to always make sure you do time, spend time with your kids, or act like your kids don't exist, but then you go to somebody else's and want to take care of their children, and you didn't even take care of your own child, but you put some other, because see what happened, they got lied to. The woman told him that she was pregnant for him, which number one, he had no business over there from the beginning, because he was married. So this is why I be saying all the time, don't take your tail somewhere you don't have no business being without your husband or your wife. See, that's when the problems start, especially when you're a weak-minded person, that anybody can get you because you weak-minded and you serving your flesh. You don't care nothing about nobody else. Your selfishness. You don't care about nobody but yourself. Hello. Thank you all guys for coming in. I appreciate it. I want y'all to know I appreciate every time y'all come in. Every time y'all comment, whether positive or negative. But I prefer y'all to do it positive because of the platform on here, because of the assignment that I have. That so nobody, I don't want nobody to be cursed, for coming in saying stuff they shouldn't say. But, I believe in everybody have a right to their opinion. But then when you come on here, different people come on here and say something about hate because I'm telling them about what I've been through. But, these are people that are been paid to come on my channel to do that, and which I know that. So I'm still are being gain stalked. When I say gain stalked, they'll call on your phone, they'll send you a bunch of emails. They try to intimidate you, but they can't intimidate me because I know who I am. I'm not a weak-minded person. I'm a very educated person. I don't talk about it, but I have my master's degree. I have a doctor's degree. I have all type of degrees. So I'm not offended by nobody, and I'm just saying that I have degrees, but I don't go around there and put that on everything that I have degrees because that's not the type of person I am. I'm all about people seeing who I am, not putting on an air like I'm something I'm not. Or trying to get in front of people and do all this here just for show. I don't do that. I be myself. Wherever I go, whatever I do. But I really honestly want to say thank y'all. Just for coming in, liking the videos. Just for coming in, going back. I appreciate if y'all get a chance to go back and look at the video. I appreciate that. And, and I know they're shadow ban my videos because this is what they do to people, that they don't want people to hear what's going on, to know and see the truth about what they've been through. And this has something to do with the government. The government is tied into it too. Local and federal government, CIA, FBI, Masons, Eastern Stars, the elite, the cartels, they tied up with all this different, what they call organized crimes. My husband's caught up in all that organized crime. And evidently didn't realize some of my family members, when they joined, they are part of that too, because they joined themselves to this situation when they should have just stayed out the way, or talking about me to my husband, telling a bunch of lies that wasn't even true. Other people saying stuff. But this the good part about everything. This is why I tell people, I had a lot of people say, I'll do this to him, I'll do that. I said, no, because I know God. And I know how God operates. You got to let God do it, because see, God know how to do it. God can put you on nationwide news. See, man can't do all that, but see, God can bring, expose everything that he have done in my family as well, that they think they're not going to be on the news, but they're going to be on the news too, right along with him. With these crimes. These are organized crimes. When you get together with people and you harass a person, you set up certain things to do to people, that's a crime. And see, certain ways, if you go across one state to another, and you doing these crimes, that they can become RICO charges. And a lot of people don't understand what they doing. They just jump on the bandwagon and run because, see, their money was exchanged. They exchanged money, gave people money to do this. So they tied themselves, in which some of them think they use Cashapp, different wirings. Don't think they can trace it back to them, but they can trace it all back, because this is how ignorant they are. They thought they were smart, but they left a digital footprint. Because see, they so smart, they tied themselves into my computer, my phone, the tracking and all that stuff. That's illegal. Or filling out paperwork on my behalf like I gave them permission, or go and get my social security card, or go and get my birth certificate without my permission. This is stuff they done because they was trying, then going to court lying or making false reports. Now, the repercussion of, like, my son, I have a son that's 22 that's autistic. Now, they tried to report me like I'm a bad mother, and anybody knew me, or even the teachers that knew him, knew one thing: he was always first in my life. But they would file fake reports to try to get me arrested or whatever so they can poison me because they tried to murder me. So this is stuff they did. Or like a family member act like they all for you, but see, God done already told you who they are. This is a sister that slept with my husband, that was having an affair with my husband. So this is who this was. All up onto me, like I didn't know who she was. I knew before when it first happened, I already knew because God showed me. Things he does, God showed me ahead of time. He always showed me that ahead of time when my husband go out and cheat. Or even who the person was, he would let me see that. So he didn't, but he thought he was getting away or cheating, and I didn't know, like they say, secret or private relationships. But then you're asking about money. I got this to do, I got that to do, because see, I know he was lying. And then one day he was talking about the electric bill was 400 something dollars. And I said, no, it wasn't. He was telling my son that. Now he's lying to our autistic son. I said, no, it's not. Because see, I'm teaching my son not to lie, to be honest. So I pulled up, so he didn't know I was keeping the electric bill. So I pulled out the electric bill. And my son said, oh my God, he lied to my face. That's why this is an example he did in front of my child, my autistic son. So what is he going to say? But you going around telling people I'm a liar. I steal from you. And when he got sick, he was handicapped, couldn't even walk. I'm the one took care of him. I'm the one made sure he had, me and my daughter, Cammie, made sure he had all the stuff he needed. But then he wanted to talk about me. Spread all these rumors about me, but that's why I asked him where was all the hoes, that people that he was hanging out with. Now, a single one of them visited them. Not a single one of them. But see, he had this lifestyle. That was his lifestyle. Now, him hanging out with his friends, I don't care if he hang out with his friends. But you out here hoeing and then lying on me, laying in bed with other people saying stuff about me. Or going to your friends, telling your friends all these lies about me. Then people looking funny at me because all these lies he done told. And these people don't even know me what's so bad. Then they never get to know me because, see, I'm not a person. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. These are the type of people he was hanging around. But he's supposed to be a man, that the deacon in the church, y'all. That's what he's supposed to be, a deacon in the church. But see, I saw the deacons in that church, that occult church, where they'll, go out and stay in a hotel all night. And then next day, they serving the people. And all that filth, they done slept together all night long and then came to the church. Stayed in a hotel. So this is the kind of stuff that they put out. A lot of people may have changed by then. I don't know because I don't be around them, but I'm just saying this is what was going on. And see, I don't mind talking about, because this is the part about people don't understand. They probably ashamed to talk about this. But that's power in talking about that. Because this is something you did. Because, see, somebody else might be doing that thing. And you will be able, because God set you free from it. That's if you're free from it. You can only talk about something if God set you free from it. If you're free from that type of lifestyle, then God, you talk about it. Other people that's in the lifestyle, you can be a help to them. But I just wanted to talk about how he would even think in his mind that I would allow him back in my life. 46 years of abuse. Well, not the whole 46 years. But, in between those 46 years, where he had long relationships, go back to his exes and all kind of stuff. If it didn't work the first time, why would you go back? That's the dumbest part I've ever seen in my life. I have never went back to my ex. Never. I talk to him. I'm nice to him. I'm friendly to him. But first, going back to them, dating them or sleeping with them, I've never done that, not with one of them. Not a single one. Because I'm the type person, once I'm done And mainly now because of where God is taking me. When God said enough was enough, I walked away and never looked back. But then for him to go around and say I was a nagger, I was this, I was that, but he would come through the door raising hell. He had got so bad, I couldn't even ride down the highway with him. I had to not ride with him at all. I couldn't even hardly ride in the vehicle with him. He was so toxic. But yet he was trying to say I was. He would clown, say clown, and he fuss. And I'm like, I would get a headache. That's why I had to stop riding in the vehicle with him. But God had to bring it back to me. And I'm like, one day, like, you don't never take me nowhere. But see, then God said, remember how when you used to ride with him, how he would cut up so bad that you have a headache when you get. I couldn't stand to ride with him because them demons from that woman or women, mainly this one crazy woman he had. That demon would be so bad on him, I couldn't even ride in the vehicle with him, y'all. He would cut off so bad. Oh, he'd be screaming to the top of his voice, y'all. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. I don't talk about that, but God just brought that back up. That talked about that. But he was so bad, I could not do that. And then even when my father was living, I'll never forget this one night. He was cutting up so bad. We were sitting in the front of my father's bedroom window. And that man had cut up so bad. I'm going to tell you, I was so embarrassed, in the vehicle with him and the way he acted. Because, see, he was cheating. See, they give themselves away because he was cheating and he thought I didn't know he was cheating. Because when they cheating, they treat their wives bad. And, like I said, we first got married. He wasn't acting like that. But, after some point, he started cheating again. He started back up his old habits. Um, but see, his family never told me he had a drug problem. I knew he would drink alcohol. I knew he would smoke cigarettes. But see, God took the cigarettes from him. God took the alcohol from him. But when he started hanging with certain people, he picked up all this stuff. But see, I never knew he was a drug addict. I didn't know he ever had drugs. But then I found out that he was taking drugs as well. So that was kind of like when God said, "No, it's time to go. Let him destroy himself. Let them destroy themselves." So God gave me a way of escape because they wanted me to be homeless. He wanted me to be homeless, y'all, with his son, homeless with his son. But he was taking care of a woman which child wasn't even his. People wasn't even taking care of everybody else because he wanted to show off in front of them. And I used to feel sorry for the sorry tail people that worked with him to try to bring my child and myself home. They some sorry piece of dogs, all of them. But I just wanted to share that today. But listen, I don't want to be on here too long because I'm got little things I need to do today. I'm gonna try to get my little outside. I went out earlier, but I try to every day get out and get a little sun. Walk around because get me some fruit. Every once in a while I might get me some, like some meat. Because I'm mainly uh, do a lot of fruit. I haven't had any green vegetables, but I'm gonna have to get some of those and cook me a few of those. But I'm really just been trying to stay on whatever my body called for. And this is the way I've been doing it. But listen, you all have a beautiful day and love people, And somebody do something to you, don't try to get back even with them. Because what goes around comes back. Always remember that. It's not worth it if somebody wrong you. Let them go on. It's okay to talk about it. That does not make you be, people say, oh, yeah, you haven't forgiven that person. No, you need to talk about it because that's your freedom to talk about it. That's your right to talk about it. Because, see, a lot of people are ignorant. They'll come down with this generational stuff, which ain't nothing. It don't work for none of them because they still doing the same thing. You talking people 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 years old and still doing the same crazy stuff. But the bad part about it, y'all, I don't know if I said this. My husband's 80 years old and acting like this. 80 years old. 80 years old. Go get young people. Young people for what? You got grown children. Our daughter, our oldest daughter, she's in her 40s. She'll be 45 this year. But this is the example her dad is. Going out fooling with children younger than her. What kind of crazy? All his kids. Suppose son 22, he can't go nobody daddy that hit everything his age. So what kind of sick stuff is that? So he couldn't even date nobody in the area if he wanted to because his daddy done lay with everything he could lay with. All right, you all have a nice day. I just want to out there and but you enjoy your day. Okay?